The most important voice for the Nationals is the one from whom we seldom hear. Thursday afternoon, Ted Lerner walked toward the exit of the home clubhouse at Nationals Park, where he had just sat and applauded from the front row as the baseball club he owns introduced the seventh manager of his family's 12-year stewardship. Might he stop and talk a bit about the process that led the Washington Nationals to Dave Martinez, the latest skipper charged with, gulp, winning a World Series here? "I usually say no," Lerner said, rather politely. "Please. Pretty please." Thursday was about Martinez, of course, because the Nationals have entrusted their loaded roster to the 53-year-old baseball lifer for a season in which there is no goal, by their own unequivocal statements, other than winning the World Series. But the day of Martinez's introduction was, really, even more about the Lerner family and its 92-year-old patriarch. "These things aren't in a vacuum," said the Lerner's free agent to be general manager, Mike Rizzo. "This isn't a one-man show." "Well, not technically. It's just that one man matters more than the rest. This is the franchise of Ryan Zimmerman and Bryce Harper and Max Scherzer, right? Those are the men whose images adorn the massive concrete walls that make up Nationals Park. But that so misses the point. Those players, they'll come and go. This is, now and going forward, the franchise of Theodore and Lerner. We hear from him only rarely, if at all. But never forget whose imprint is on this franchise more than any other. His involvement is like any other major decision we make in this franchise's history. It's a group decision," Rizzo said. "The ownership group, which includes Mr. Lerner, and with the executive branch, which includes me." As Nationals introduce Dave Martinez, manager pledges to let players know I'm on their side. But as we get to know Martinez and gain a feel for how he'll handle the club, let's be clear about something. If the Lerners didn't own the team, and Ted Lerner didn't provide the most important counsel, and the baseball operations department made the choice, Dusty Baker would still be the manager. And he is not. About that? "It was difficult, and we had a lot of consultation," Lerner said. "I think everybody was unanimous of the decision. The decision to remove Baker after 2 division title seasons in which he won 95 and 97 games, yet failed to advance past the division series, each time with an excruciating, easy-to-second-guess loss in the 5th game, casts a shadow on Martinez's tenure, fairly or unfairly. In Martinez's favor is the fact that Rizzo and his staff convinced ownership that they had to give the new manager a 3-year deal, normal for the industry, outlandish for the Nets. It was something that I felt was important for this manager at this stage of our franchise, that it needed to happen," Rizzo said. "Beyond that, it was the market value for good, young, intelligent managers." Hurdle cleared. About that good, young, intelligent manager to be, in order for Martinez to wear the curly W cap and sit behind the red microphone Thursday, the family that owns the team had to find a comfort level with him. He had been through this process before, back in the fall of 2013. There may be no ownership group in baseball that is more involved in the selection of its manager, including dining with Martinez last week at Morton's on Connecticut Avenue. Lose the Lerners, and you lose the job. "We just thought there was a lot of energy, a lot of talent, and that he's worked with one of the great managers," Ted Lerner said, speaking of Martinez's old boss with the Cubs, Joe Maddon. "We think that he's ready to move. He knows that we want to win a World Series. It's not a matter of stopping along the way. This has now become an edict from ownership, win it all." Ted's wife Annette, son Mark and daughter Marla Tannenbaum were among those who joined Lerner in the front row at Thursday's news conference. When Martinez stated his goal, "We're here to win a World Series," he said, the family clapped, and the front office followed. When Martinez said bluntly, "We're going to get it done," Annette Lerner said, "Yay!" and raised her hands. When the Lerners bought the Nationals from Major League Baseball in the summer of 2006 and began this odyssey, Ted Lerner was 80, with so much ahead of him. The process his front office entered then was one of the first strip-it-down-and-build-it-up efforts the league had seen this century, predating those undertaken by the Chicago Cubs and Houston Astros, who just happened to have won the past 2 World Series. All this time later, there is a sense not of desperation, but at least of mortality. Who knows how many fall classics any of us have left, even those on this side of 92. The dozen World Series